think it is time.
It's time.
It is time to get to Chelsea. Now, Chelsea, obviously, Graham Potter been having a real rough time of things at the moment. A real opportunity to get back on track, playing the bottom team in Southampton at home, but they lost the game 1-0. And for the first time, you heard the fans turned. They were really, really unhappy with Graham Potter. There were fans calling for him to go. And I watched, I went onto Matisse's channel and I watched his sort of roundup of affairs. And you also want him to go, don't you? You want Graham Potter gone.
I would like him to resign if he had.
Well, that is the same as saying you want him.
It's a nice way of saying it.
I like to be
Yeah.
very polite when I say these things because no one wants to see anybody lose their jobs in a cost of living crisis. But
Is it his fault?
He'll get a big payout.
do you know what it is, Robbie? Right, I'm very conflicted because I don't think he's had enough time for everybody to make conclusive judgment. But when you put in a performance like that against Southampton and you set the team up like that, it was a sackable performance. It really was. It was a sackable performance. It's everything to the line, from the lineup to the lack of any sort of press to the build-up play. Every single phase, every third was all wrong in terms of the way Chelsea played. And I don't know. I know that we had to take some players out. Medical staff have advised that players could be on the cusp of injury, but when you look at like a Trevor Chalobah at right back over an Aspie, when before Reece James was out, that's who he was going with, and he was playing very well. He takes him out. When you see Mason Mount playing on the wing, and then you see Mason Mount playing as like a two-man striker at some points in that game, you don't bring on Kai Havertz, to give you some sort of aerial presence in the box when you take off Fofana. Just so many decisions just don't make any sense. Aubameyang, you say that, in the pre-match press conference, you say that he's part of things and he's still working hard and he's still important, and then he's not even in the squad. And I'm not Aubameyang's biggest fan at all. I personally never wanted him. I don't really want to see him next season. But if you are struggling for goals, you think
one goal in the last 5 games.
Leave him on the bench just to give yourself a get out of jail card. The way we played was just shambolic. To lose to Southampton at home is just inexcusable. There's no excuse for it. It's one of the most embarrassing performances and results I've seen. And I've seen a lot this season, but that was just horrendous.
Is that the worst one?
It's the worst one because the funny thing is about Southampton, they drew against Arsenal and they beat City in the Cup. So they're a team not to be underestimated because when they turn up, they can cause you problems.
Yeah.
There's a lot of...
But they drew against Arsenal at home. But to go to Stamford Bridge and they were bottom of the table. I mean, when they drew against us, they weren't bottom of the table at that time, right? That was still under, I think that's still Hasenhüttl was still in charge them times, right? But to go, they haven't even got a manager. They're in a bit of a disarray. And I mean, there was talk that Jesse Marsh was going to take over. He didn't take over. They're in a mess at the moment. And to go there, I was shocked by that result. And even on the Aubameyang thing, I have to say, I'm looking at it and I'm like, you can't score a goal. 1 goal in the last 5 games. Hasn't really worked out yet for Mudryk since he's come in. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you've got a goal scorer there. And it's interesting, I was watching Sky yesterday and I saw Darren Lewis from The Mirror was on there. And he said some really interesting things about Aubameyang. He goes, there's this perception that Aubameyang has got a really bad attitude. And that's why he's sort of not playing. But he goes, this is not a guy with a bad attitude at the moment. Because he goes, remember, even when he came to Chelsea, he had his house burgled. He'd been hit in the mouth with an iron bar, right? And broken his jaw. But still wanted to play. Still played in the team. So it can't be an attitude thing. So this is Graham Potter really digging in his... you need a goal. You've got to, I just don't understand why he's not playing it.
I would understand if he didn't start him purely because there's a certain system or setup he's trying to integrate, and Aubameyang is not here for the long term. He's not going to be here next season most likely, and he's not.
But he's here now.
But he's here now. But he's not suited to the way you want your striker to play. But you've got him on the bench as a backup if you need him in the last 10, 15, 20 minutes. But I'm not seeing the press was awful, Robbie. The press against Southampton was awful. Like literally, people are just going in ones and twos, and it's just disjointed. Southampton played through Chelsea so easily in that.
They could have scored more than one.
They could have scored more. Kepa saved us a few times.
Yep.
First phase, the build-up play is horrendous. It's like what really annoyed me against Southampton is, one, it was a must-win, like literally must-win. You know, some people say that just as a gimmick, but that was a must-win. And I understand that we're not going to go on a run. I even said I don't think we're going to get top 4, even with all the money spent, because it's a lot of young players you're trying to integrate at once. They're not all going to get off to a strong start. I don't even know some of them well enough to hang my hat on them, like a Mudryk or a Madueke, in terms of the quality that we're purchasing. There's a lot of potential. We don't know what is going to come of that. That's the scouts.
You've got 8 years to find out.
But, yeah, we've got 8 years to find out. But Robbie, so I said, you know what? People said you must get top 4. We probably should, you know, when you're seeing Newcastle capitulating a little bit how they are, and you know, there's a gap there. We should be in the conversation. That's why I said, you know, we should be what Liverpool is, in the conversation. We should be moving up the league and at least trying to get in the top 4. But I said, I'm not expecting it, because I know that it's a lot more difficult than just, we threw a lot of money at it. We have a load of the new players, got a 35-man squad that he's got to manage. I know there's going to be problems, but you have to win some games, Robbie. You have to win some games. You know, win a game. It's not too much to ask. I'm not expecting 3-4 wins in a row, which is nuts, right? I'm not even expecting that. But win a game of football. And when you're at home to Southampton and you don't win, and then the post-match reaction, honestly, I haven't been paying attention to the quotes, but I was so angry. I said, you know what, this time I want to hear if there's going to be a change of tone or a little bit of... I don't need him to run up and down the touchline. I don't need him to, you know, do a Klopp or a Conte, do a knee slide. But there has to be some self-awareness and some accountability. I hate it. I hate it when managers do not take accountability and they just say, oh, well, you know, it's nobody's fault. How can it be nobody's fault? What went wrong? Who does that fall on? If you want to take some responsibility, that would be great. Say that you got it wrong today. Say something. But it just feels like all of his responses in press conferences are very like, you know when you're out of office and you send the automated emails and you're just like just running them, just the emails are just going out and everybody's like, yeah, he's not in. That's what it feels like when I'm listening to him, like in a post match. I'm like, I'm actually looking for answers. Like, what happened today? He didn't give any answers.
Thing is, I said this the other day when it comes to like managers like Graham Potter, is that who remembers a Graham Potter press conference when he was at Brighton? Do you remember any of them?
No, but why would I have been...
Do you remember any?
Why would you have been keeping your eye on it?
Exactly. When you go to manage a team like Chelsea, it's a completely different animal. That even your press conference is scrutinised. People, like what Matisse just said there, people want to see certain things. They want to hear certain things.
He doesn't speak in any detail.
He just doesn't seem to come across as a manager. Yeah,
I don't need him to shout. I don't need him to be someone he's not. I don't need him to.
I
want him to explain what's
going on.
Give us actual, not some sort of, because sometimes it feels like he's speaking to us like we're 5-year-olds. Give us actual reasonings as to what went wrong today, because the responses just feel very generic. They feel very generic, very recycled.
Is that not him protecting the team?
I get protecting the team, but then you've got to take accountability yourself. You know what I mean? You've got to say, okay, you know, this is where I'm going wrong or something. Many managers have done it before, but there's no accountability. It just feels like as if the contract is very cushy. It's 12 million a year.
12?
No, he is. You can't sack.
He did all right, man. I said 12 million.
You sack him.
And you can't resign.
No, you can't sack him. That's why I said
12 million a year.
You
cannot sack him.
That's why I said he would have to. You can't.
How
sack.
did he pull that off?
You can't sack someone on and again, it's funny because my rule of thumb is I would like to give a manager a pre-season and a full season to showcase what they can do and what the plan is. But that performance against Southampton threw all my logic out the window, because I was like, I feel like I actually feel abused here. I feel like genuinely my trust is gone. You need to get my trust back, because I can't piece together why you haven't been able to get 3 points in this game. It's literally inexcusable.
Couple of super chats here, Matisse. Anthony TO 1993 says, some money for Matisse to buy a bottle of J2O. Ooh, we'll come to that a little later.
No, we won't.
J2O? You know what he means when he's saying J2O?
Unfortunately, I do, yeah.
A says, Matisse loves to say Spurs in the mud. Karma, buddy, he says.
I haven't said that enough. What are you talking about?
Kai says, I would take Graham Potter at West Ham right now. Shorty AFC says, this Chelsea downfall is too beautiful. I hope it sets a precedent in football that money isn't guaranteeing your success. Love Matisse, but this project must fail, he says.
It's funny because when I said that money doesn't guarantee anything, people are like, no, you must guarantee top 4. I said it doesn't. I've seen Man United spend $1 billion, I've seen City spend $1 billion. Just because we spent the money, I can pull up in my hat and my suit for expressions, but when I go home, I understand that we didn't win a game of football still. So I'm literally just trying to expect the bare minimum, which is a win on the board, and we ain't even getting that.
Let me ask you this, Matisse, all right? Next game, Tottenham. The Tottenham away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
I've tapped out.
If you lose that game,
I've already tapped out.
What happens to Graham Potter if you lose that game? I know that game.
No, Robbie.
The importance of that game to Chelsea fans.
No,
that's Robbie. Probably your biggest game. That's your biggest derby game.
Robbie,
isn't it?
I've already tapped out. I'm in pain, Robbie.
What if he loses that game?
I didn't even put out a roundabout. I wasn't even at the roundabout this morning. I'm in pain, Robbie. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't even watch PSG Lille. I am in pain. I went on a sabbatical, they call it, I think. Isn't it? I was off the internet for a good day.
Gardening leave.
Yeah, gardening leave, like Joe Shields. I was gone. So when you lose to Southampton at home, it really does mess up your mind, because a lot of Chelsea fans, like you said, a lot of Chelsea fans turned. A lot of us were kind of like, we didn't want him to be hired in the first place. We wouldn't even get over Tuchel being sacked. It happened in like 24 hours. But we was like, we give him time. He's a good coach. He's done well at Brighton. I think what he's done at Brighton, some people say is overstated. I think sometimes it can also be understated. He took a Chris Hughton team that had Glenn Murray up front and wasn't playing the brilliant brand of football to put them into ninth and then hand it over to De Zerbi in the top 4 this season and come to Chelsea. So I think he's a good coach. He's obviously got potential. I think this step from Brighton to Chelsea, most times you would say Brighton to maybe a Tottenham and then...
Agree.
Yeah, I think that's a big jump. But, I'm very patient. But that performance and that result...
What if he loses to Tottenham?
Robbie, I just told you, that performance was a sackable offence. So nothing after that, there's nothing... Unless he gets us into a relegation battle...
So you think he should be sacked?
He can't be sacked, Robbie. That's why I said he has to resign. He has to resign.
Yeah,
you can't sack him. You can't sack him. Robbie, let me explain the financials, right? 12 million a year, 60 million contract. His release clause from Brighton was in the range between 15 to 22 million. We paid Brighton to bring him in. So that gets you into the 80 million region. Yeah. Then you hired all of his staff and you paid their clauses and they're all on there. There is no sacking him. That's why I said, please resign. Respectfully, please. If it comes to that, please can you forgo the money, which he will not do.
That money then?
He's not going to do, but exactly. Do you know what I'm saying? Come to a mutual agreement.
All right, if he loses to Tottenham, should he be sacked?
Firstly, I don't think they'll lose. But if they do...
You don't think they'll lose Tottenham at home?
No. I've seen this script many times. Many times before I've seen it. I'll be very surprised.
What if they do, though?
I don't think they will. I think it'll be a draw. Look, they are not going to sack him. And Chelsea fans know that. And I think that's why they are even more frustrated, because they know they can't sack him because of they can't afford
unless he gets into a relegation battle. We're 10 points off relegation battle.
Oh, he's not going to be in a relegation
battle. You never know, though.
You know what, Abby? Yeah, I've said it. People thought I was joking. And I was saying it tongue in cheek. We need our 40 points. But we need our 40 points. We do.
The only thing I would say, I understand the football has been diabolical. I understand that. However, you have got a whole new squad, and that does take time.
It does.
It takes time. It's not like they've just brought in one or two players.
But you still have to win some games.
It's got a whole new squad, right? You're playing Southampton at
home. I do get it.
Southampton at home, bottom of the league.
I understand, but I just think you're going to have to give time, and it's not something that Chelsea ever do.
No, but look at, to give you an example, Cooper at Nottingham Forest. He's had a whole new, complete...
Yeah, but he'd been at Forest already.
No, but hold on. Complete new squad put on. He's had to deal with, and he's doing a better job than Potter. He got a draw against Man City at the weekend, and you've got Southampton at home.
Do you know what?
That's 2 weeks. And remember, they lost to Dortmund before that, even though I thought Chelsea actually played well in that game. But
believe me, Abby,
look at some of the players they've got.
I am very sympathetic to the amount of players he's got and the amount of headaches he's got and the amount of conflicting situations he has to deal with in terms of bringing players in off the bench, and you've got people that have not played yet, and there's too many players. But there's certain games you have to pick up 3 points. You have to, because if you keep losing, Abby, we will be in a relegation battle. We are in relegation
Okay,
form.
but I would just like to also point out, and this is not me digging at Arteta, but there were many times where you wanted Arteta out.
Well, Steve,
and you stood by Arteta.
Not me.
No,
but
I'm saying Arsenal as a fan base.
Let me just say thing.
You've got to give time.
Yeah, because Stevie Fraser says, Robbie, you gave Arteta time. He was crap for 2 to 3 years, but Arteta won the FA Cup in his first season.
He deserves to have the rest of the season. He needs to integrate these players. There is a lot of new players.
What if it becomes into a relegation fight?
So
it won't.
I want him to have the rest of the season, ideally. But there is a cut-off point. If he gets us anywhere questioning relegation, he has to go.
You won't be questioning relegation. You're
Abby,
not bad
we're
enough.
in relegation form.
You're not bad
People have been telling me that I'm doing too much when I say there's 40 points. We just lost at home to Southampton. You cannot statistically get an easier fixture in the Premier League than at home to Southampton. It doesn't exist.
At the moment, with no manager.
They have no manager, Abby. And his post-match reaction was to say that they were well organised and well coached.
I feel the only thing that can save Potter's job this season is if he does really well in the Champions League. He's going to have to, a bit like what I explained with Arteta, he had a great run in that Europa League, got to the semi-final. I think he has to not necessarily win the Champions League, he's got to have a great run in that Champions League, which they could do, because remember the season when they won it.
We need to start winning games.
And, you know,
that's as simple
I think the top 4 chances are very...
No.
On Wednesday, the 22nd of February, we are doing a special stream over on AFTV, a 12-hour stream to raise money for the Turkey-Syria earthquake appeal. You would have seen the horrific scenes and seen the amount of people that have passed away because of that earthquake. And we're coming together as a football community to raise funds. Special 12-hour stream. You're going to have all your presenters from AFTV. We've also got guest presenters. We're going to be doing a Best of Enemies special on there. And
I'm box office, main event, genetically jacked, athletically stacked, half man, half amazing, modern day Mac, and I'm coming onto the Ops channel for Turkey and Syria. Forget these wastes, man. I'm doing it for Turkey and Syria. I'll be there like the Jackson 5. Just knows for a great cause, and I'm telling you, bruv, I hope you lot can join me.
I was just about to say, and I might bring you on.
Yeah?
No, he's on, man. We're going to be doing a Best of Enemies special, like you said.
100%.
There's also going to be loads of other shows on it. 12 hours, we're raising money. Make sure you check out the GoFundMe page as well. Over on the AFTV YouTube channel. Can't wait. Join us Wednesday the 22nd from 12 till 12. It's going to be big.
And big up all the influencers getting involved, doing it for the cause for Turkey and Syria. I'm telling you, everything goes to charity and goes for the cause with them. You get me? Certain man might be doing it for a hairline, but I'm not one of them. Gang business.